Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is time for art. I'm Hershey Petty. I'll be your host today. We just want to welcome everybody. We know we've got some new faces out there. I just want to say hello. If you've been with us before and you've been checking out your calendar that came in your box this month, you know that today is Wednesday, which is typically a paint day, but today we're going to be drawing. And the first Wednesday of every month is where we draw what the paintings that the two of the paintings that we're going to be doing that month. So if you are able to, if you look right there on your screen, you'll be able to see all of the materials that you're going to need today. You're going to need your pencil, maybe a sharpener, maybe an eraser. You'll need these guys here so that you can get ready to sketch in your art book. And so that's all you're going to need. So as you're setting up and whatnot, let's first real quick talk about how we're growing our community. The community of artists that we have here it's just blossoming every single month. We have more subscribers and more subscribers. So please, 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 in the comment section, I'm going to post all of our social media links. Please tag, like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to become part of our subscriber group on Facebook, not just our Time for Art page. You want to be part of our group as well. That's our subscriber group. You'll find the link in the comment section in just a moment. And because we do have new artists in our community, just want to go over a couple things real quick before we get started today. First is that we don't know you guys are there hanging out with us and painting with us unless you guys interact with us in the comments. So if you are new to the group, or even if you're not, why don't you go to the comment section right now, say hello, say hi to the other artists out there, say hi to me, say hi to our resident artist, Allison, who I'll introduce to you guys in just a minute. Whatever you like to do, that's your place to kind of interact with us and interact with the community and let us all know that you're there. It's also a great place to put any questions you may have. And now that you guys have your box and it's opened and you've been kind of touching everything and feeling, what is in the box, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can put it in the comment section for us during our live streams, or you could find us, you could message us on any of the social media platforms. But we would love to hear from you. Please, please, please. Let's see. We meet 8 times a month. We do Mondays and Wednesdays for 4 weeks. And you do not have, by any means, you do not need to come to all of our live streams. But if you can, fantastic. We definitely have some gold star attendance artists out there. Julie, you know who you are. But so anyways, if you happen to miss a night or your schedule just doesn't permit, don't worry. Our videos are available on our YouTube and our Facebook page the moment we're done filming them. So you can go back and rewind and watch different techniques that Allison might teach that night. And you also don't need to finish a project before starting the next. Every single project we do every night is self-contained and into itself. So it's not like it builds on the last one. So don't feel the need to finish a project before you start it, or you can't come to this class because you're still stuck on last week's whatever. You do you at your time. This is supposed to be easy. This is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to just be making art together. So have a good time with it. And everything you're going to need is right there in that box. So, and then let's introduce Allison before we talk about the template challenges. This is our resident artist, Allison Crary. Everyone say hi, Allison.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
So great. And I'm excited. We're going to draw these tonight. It's draw night's my favorite night because it's relaxing. We sit and draw.
100%.
My favorite thing in the whole world to do. I like painting a lot too, but just sitting and drawing is my favorite thing in the whole world. And Hershey and I were talking about before we got started. I'm just going to repeat it really quick. You're going to need both of your references. This is what we kind of trace and set things up with, this one right here. And then you're going to need your art journals and your pencil. And if you haven't sharpened your pencil yet, that guy too. So I went through and just painted some of my pages, and Hershey and I are going to try and fill up our journals this month with island themed things.
Every single page.
And that doesn't mean that every page is a masterpiece. To the contrary, this counts. And so for a moment think that that's what we're doing, but that's something we're going to do. So if anyone else kind of takes us up on that challenge, Hershey and I are challenging ourselves to that. Yes. We're interested, and that'll have a special prize a little bit different than our template challenge prize. So just letting everybody know that. And so I paint my pages sometimes with leftover paint, sometimes really deliberately, but I also sometimes like to sketch on painted pages, and that's what I'm going to do today. So we're going to do our first sketch. We're going to do the order that we're going to paint them. So our first sketch we're going to do is the sunset, and I am going to do the sunset on one of my painted pages.
Okay.
I'm going to do it on this one. I'll let you guys see it. I think you'll be able to. Let's go with this one. And what we're going to get started with is if you get out your white picture plane template, and if you have a little bit of excess, that's just how these got cut, you can trim the excess. So you have just the black line, but it's not the biggest deal. We're not quite that accurate with our drawings. And we're going to go ahead and trace this guy.
And while you guys are out there tracing and following along, getting your things drawn, I just kind of want to, Allison, I want to let you know who's already active in the comment section. Oh, and I just want to say hello to, we have Michelle, Michael out there, Michael Drebo. He's, I think, first time I'm seeing him there. So welcome, brother. We've got Melinda. Kate is coming in from Columbus with Sally, her mom, Sally. We've got Lori, who she's like, one of our Gold Star attendance people, I think, as well. And of course, Julie from Crown Point and Ruth from Tucson. Thank you guys so much. We're happy to have you. Can't wait to see what you guys draw tonight.
Excellent. So I just want to show everybody what I did here. So I've got my picture plane sketched out, and then these little reference marks. I made sure I got these in here too, and we're going to make these nice and dark. They're here to help us.
Yeah.
And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get this guy out, and you are going to find on here those same reference marks and make them dark. Toughest one to find is this one down here, but it's right. It's going to line up with the one up there.
Okie dokie.
Should have made that one black next time.
Oh, wow. So Caroline added some friends to the group, Caroline Flanagan.
Yes.
And that's Sally and her daughter, Kate. And Kate is even drawing tonight with her husband, Reed. So we've got a lot of new faces.
Awesome. Excellent. That makes us so happy. All right.
It's so exciting.
Welcome. Okay. So the reason we draw like this and we set up our compositions like this is because this is kind of using the grid method without making a grid. Some people teach, and it's not the worst way to go, if we're going to be fair, that you kind of draw in a grid and you compare everything to a grid. And it's like, all right, what's in this box is what I draw here. And what's in this box is what I draw there. Not a bad way to go.
Especially if you're trying to recreate another piece of art, like that's probably a really good way.
Good way to go. Or a photograph or whatever it is you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Not a bad way to go. The problem with it is you got to make a grid every time. Then you got to do something with your grid, and that's a whole thing. Don't do it. This is what we're not doing tonight. So instead, we have the same proportions. I'm going to make my lines even darker here. So everybody can see them. We have the same proportions on our page as we do on our reference. And we're just going to kind of see this spatially with these thirds. All right. So the first thing I'm going to put in is something that's going to anchor the painting that I can measure off of. And in this instance, it's going to be our horizon line. So our horizon line is where the ground meets the sky. In this case, we have these little maybe islands, maybe peninsulas. Not sure where this is, but Yeah, anyway. But we're going to get that in. And so how do we figure out where to put our horizon line? Well, we have this registration mark right here. And it's about, I would say, between 2/3 and 3/4 up.
Yep.
About right there. About on the underside of that. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that all the way across. Like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in our little mountains or islands, land masses that we can see now from this painting. And this one kind of starts, so if we take our pencil straight up, we have a registration mark, right? And it starts about, I'd say again, kind of 3/4 of the way into this column right here. So if you measure from these two registration marks, it's not in this one at all. It's definitely in this one. It's as far in. So we're going to go ahead and draw in our little island. And then we see where it begins and ends. About right here. There's our first little island. Same thing over here. This one is barely there. It starts kind of right in the middle of these two. And it's just going to kind of come up and over like this. There's our mountains.
Okay.
All right. The next thing I'm going to put in that's going to anchor us is our sun of our sunset. And definitely in the center column. And a little bit to the right. Everybody see that? So
yeah,
it's not quite in the center. So it's going to probably fall kind of right on this line right here. Crosswise, it's kind of right in the middle, it looks like to me. So this is our middle. Here is our sun. And our sun is roughly the same size, almost exactly, as our pencil eraser for reference. On your pencil eraser, take a good look at how that looks. Difficult thing to trace if you only have one pencil. There is our sun. Looking good. So look how much we have in here right now. Almost the whole painting, right?
Yeah.
I told Hershey just how simple these drawings were going to be. I'm not sure he believed me, but yeah, these are just going to kind of fall into place. Okay, so the next thing we're going to put is the clouds. And these are these kind of linear sort of, I don't know, they kind of look like waves, I feel like, clouds.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this one begins and ends kind of on this line. All right, so we're just going to kind of put in a line here where our cloud kind of begins and ends. And it picks up about right here. And then about halfway into here. So here's where our cloud starts. And we'll get the contour of it, but I'm just going to draw a line straight across for now for where this cloud's going to go in. All right, and then I'm going to leave it alone. We're going to do the same thing over here. This one, if you look very closely, starts right here. So definitely kind of the first quarter, if we're going right to left across the bottom, first quarter of the first third. And then kind of right here on this one. So we'll get this line in just like this. I'm going to skip up. We're going to skip this center cloud right here. We're gonna go up to this
Okay.
one. Can everybody see these? Line, line. Keep it easy. This one starts kind of right at the 1/4 mark up here. And goes straight across. So we're gonna put in this line right here. And then between these two lines is this cloud that kind of comes up and plateaus, and it's got one underneath it. So actually, I'm going to put in where this plateau mark is, and it's between these two kind of lines here. And it's at the sort of 2/3 mark of the center column. So that's going to kind of happen right here. And so I'm going to start this one kind of right at the middle mark right here, or right on this mark. This is our 3rd mark. And I'm going to come up like this and over like this. And then it just kind of offsets itself almost exactly. So then up like this, right underneath it, over like this. And then this little guy right here kind of sits right underneath the plateau. And it's got this kind of concave shape right here. So we've got these two clouds kind of fully fleshed out. Let's go up here. And then this one has just kind of an irregular line that makes this one. I get these in so everybody can see them.
Yeah, we've got a lot of so many faces or so many names in our chat that I don't recognize from other nights. I'm so excited.
So exciting. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And then this guy down here, this one we just made a line on. This one, I'm going to put the bottom in. It kind of smiles. And then this top part kind of breaks the line and comes back around. Oh, and Hershey, you might have said it before. Because Hershey is drawing along, and it means we get better questions because Hershey's drawing along. So we ask him to do that.
Yes.
But he might miss a question. Never, ever, ever wants to, but he might. We read all of the comments as soon as we're done, and we will go back and answer your question. We want to do it in real time. If we ever, for some reason, can't, you will get your question answered, we promise.
That's right. We'll not only answer it, we'll tag you in the answer so that you're sure not to miss it.
Exactly. Your question is important to us, and it's probably something else someone else has. So always, always, always ask it. The next thing I'm actually going to put in is kind of this sort of, I feel like ramp is the wrong word, but it's the word that comes to mind.
You say ramp?
Yeah, and that's not what I mean. But this sort of shape right here, I don't know, pyramid shape maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Trapezoid, I think it's a trapezoid. And I love geometry, that's embarrassing. All right, that is our sort of water lines. The highlight of the water, we're gonna reduce to this shape right here. And it starts kind of at this point right here. And at this point right here. So it's kind of 1/4 in and 1/4 from the edge right here. And it kind of ends sort of between our islands like that. And so I'm just going to put that in kind of like this. And this will be our water ripples kind of in highlight.
This is very reminiscent of the desert. Remember, what was it called? What was it?
That was an actual ramp.
Yeah. No, the landscapes, the geometric landscapes.
Yes, but it had a road. And that was at an incline. Yeah. That was an actual ramp. All right. So we've got we know where our water is going to go. We know where our sun is. We know where our clouds are. And we're kind of working background to foreground. Last but not least is our palm fronds. And these are also really easy to pop in because we know where they begin and end. So this one, if we kind of go all battleship on it, so if we go over 1/3 and up 1/3, right? Our palm frond kind of comes right here, right? So this is kind of this part right here. So this whole area right here is kind of sort of a finger mark over. And this, so if I want to start my fronds right here, I'm going to kind of make that part, I'm going to draw in this part right here. And then I'm going to take this line up to, so this is about from here, 2/3 up, 1/3 over. I'm going to connect these lines. Just like that. And then we're just going to kind of draw in our fronds.
Melinda got a kick out of your battleship reference there. Yeah.
I always like battleship. It's kind of visual.
I did too.
It's for the people who can sort of, it's one of those games I was good at.
Yeah, the process of elimination.
Right. All right, so we got this guy in. Now, we're just gonna kind of look at what's on this side of the palm frond, and it's this kind of one that kind of comes down and is, again, almost a direct offset. So this comes down to kind of almost the middle, right about here. And we come back up. And then there's a few wispies. Just like that. And then just to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to fill in my palm frond. Now, if you were having an especially detail-oriented day, you could, if you wanted to, figure out where every single one of these guys fell.
Not necessary.
I'm uninterested in doing that.
Yeah.
But if this were a portrait or this were something where it maybe fingers or hands or all of that, it's the same technique. You just start counting individual palm fronds and you do it. Just like you would do that with maybe knuckles or something like that. Not today's drawing. We're going about it. Got it in. It looks good. All right. There's that guy. I'm going to do this one next. This one is going to start right here, right? And it's where this other one kind of ends. And if I want to go across, it's almost right at the middle point of this third.
Yeah.
So here's my third. So this guy kind of ends right there. And he starts kind of 1/3 in right here. So I'm just going to put in this shape just like this. And then this kind of shags out, sort of.
You know, this Cheryl just Cheryl, I want to say hi to you also. I haven't seen
Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. She actually just asked a really great question that I think everyone should know the answer to. Allison, where do these reference photos come from?
So I do the paintings, and they are of different places I find. Sometimes I go with stock images. Sometimes I go with personal photos. Sometimes I make them up.
Yeah. But these reference photos, though, you've done these photos. These are your paintings already.
These are my paintings. Yes. All right, so back to Battleship. If we go 1/3 over and 2/3 in, right to here, just like this kind of nugget right here comes around this way and hits right there. This kind of big chunk. Yeah.
Real quick, Allison, I just want to point out one more thing too. So are the vellum transfers. Those are also your original artwork. So
correct.
Allison works tirelessly. So does her sister Melissa on the back end, to getting everything ready for us so that we can just sit down, put some paint on paper, and have a good time.
Yes, we have a lot of fun doing it. So this nugget right here, 2/3 over, 1/3 up, goes in right here. And we're going to kind of fill in with our fronds. And then same thing, this kind of ends 1/3 from the edge, but we're going to fill in with some palm fronds up to there. Get in this silhouette. And then we have these two guys left. I think we should work them at the same time. This one, 2/3 over from this first mark right here. So 1, 2 puts me here. This guy starts kind of up 1/3 from there. It's right about here. Ends kind of right where this one began. So we'll give it a little space in between. Connect that line. And so this one is such a kind of specific shape. I know I want to do this piece, and then these three sort of. So I'm going to do this one, and then 1, 2, 3. So I'll fill that in. And then there's some fronds in between.
I'm having fun with the fronds, like not trying to make it exactly like the reference, like just having a good time.
We're all about a good time here.
Yeah, we are.
But you're always learning.
Yeah, right.
Christy and I were talking about this ahead of time today. We were talking about, if you want to get yelled at, go watch Gordon Ramsay. We're like, that's not our brand.
No.
Not what we're going for here. Okay, so this one sits completely in this last third. So it is going to start in here and stay on this side. And this one is, let's say, 3/4 up. So like kind of here maybe. And kind of right here. And we're going to go ahead and draw in this line. It kind of ends right where this one, so that's where the curve goes. Just like that. And I'm working from this point here. So this one has one that kind of shoots out this way. And then fringe.
Yeah.
In the in-between. And there you go. We got our pumps in. So I go through and see if I kind of want to make this a little bit more rounded on this side. This one had a few that kind of cut in opposite directions, kind of in the wind. If I want to put some of those in. I'm going to fill in my mountains or islands or land masses. I know where it gets lighter, which is in the middle here. So I'm just going to kind of make the water darker, kind of in these sort of wave shapes on the sides. Just like that. And I'm going to leave this one alone. I like how it looks.
Yeah.
There we go.
Looks terrific.
All right. We are at exactly the 30-minute mark, Hershey. How about that?
I mean, what are we? We're like seasoned professionals here.
Who knew? So everybody, give yourself a round of applause. You just did a really nice 30-minute drawing.
Yep.
All right. So now we're going to do the one we affectionately call Jurassic Park with no dinosaurs. And I have a green page that I painted ahead of time that I'm going to put this guy on. Actually, this one's a little bit lighter. And this is just an option if you're interested.
You know, at the end of the painting nights, sometimes you have leftover paint, and that's a really good thing to do. A good way to use up your resources without throwing your paint away. You could just go forward in your journal and paint some pages like Allison did there. And then you have them as like the backdrop for a really cool drawing later.
All right, I like that. I just wanted everyone to be able to see the whole thing there. Okay, so same drill. We're going to put down our template. And we're going to mark off our edges and our registration marks. All right, so can everybody see?
Those lines are really standing out. That was a great job.
Good.
Yeah.
And the same thing here. We're going to find our registration marks and mark them off big time. You want to be able to see them. I can't make them much bigger in the print just because then it starts really blocking what's underneath. So until I come up with a better way. There we go. All right. So take a look at what we have here. In this instance, there is one horizon line, but we can't really see it. It's probably like kind of back here because we have these land masses that are sort of in the way. So instead, I would actually say front to back, but we're in the background. We're going to put in this landmass first, and then this one, and then this one. And then we'll build up from there. So we're going to start with this guy. And this one starts 1/3 up right here and 1/4 from this mark right here. And there's this kind of U shape that sort of happens right here, and this peak that kind of happens 1/3 in and 2/3 up right here. So I'm just going to put in these kind of dots to connect. We'll call it that. Okay. And then we have this little, we have this sort of V right here, check mark maybe. And so this one is pretty much right in the middle. Yeah. So of these two. And it's, I would say 3/4 up just like this. And then it's going to start here. So let's connect our dots. This one comes over and down here. Up and kind of around like this. And then down here and up there. So there's our first mountain. if you will.
Yeah.
There's this little guy kind of right on this mark that we can draw in. That's where he goes. Some of the shadowing we can put in later. I'm not worried about it yet. We're going to do the same thing for this next mountain. This one starts about 1/4 into our third region right here. And then this kind of U area happens, but happens just off this mark. So about right here. So we're underneath this mark. We're not quite here. So I'm actually going to draw in this U. So this comes over this way and kind of up and over here. And then what's important about these is that we get high enough. So this ends a hair above this mark. All right, so we know we have to get up this high. And we have kind of another stair step checkpoint right here. And it is directly above this, maybe a little off. So here, kind of over a little bit, I'd say 2/3 up. So I'm going to do this little bit of it. And so this kind of comes down like that. And then this connects to that. Mountain number 2. And then this one pops right in because it's between these two marks. So this one, we can look and see where this peak is. And that peak happens about 3/4 if you're measuring from this way, 1/4 if you're measuring from this way up. So it's going to happen right about here and under the halfway point. So if that's a halfway point, it's not going to get up that high. So this does kind of like that.
All righty.
There we go. And we were talking about the sort of color palette inspiration for this are those kind of sepia jungle safari looking illustrations and photos.
Like you said,
Jumanji, or I was going to say Jungle Cruise. That sort of, I'm thinking of the ride, not the movie. That kind of thing is what we're sort of going for here. So, okay, now we got a bunch of trees. And these trees are super fun. And Hershey, we're also talking about these trees look very sort of ungroomed. Right. They
look like they're out in the wild. Yeah, they're not on a resort somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. This might be a resort. This one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start with these two little guys right here. All right. So this one sort of begins in this kind of divot right here. And it's these top fronds over here kind of happen in relationship to this guy. Just kind of over and up. So it ends around there. So I'm just going to draw in this tree and not overthink it too much. It kind of starts here. This guy comes around here. This guy comes around here. There's this kind of really bushy one. Comes around here. And this kind of does one of those. We're going to fill that in.
Melinda Chua, she was saying that it reminds her of the island from the show Lost. Do you remember that show?
Yes, I think I only watched the first and second season, but yes.
No, I found it to be so disappointing. I watched the whole thing.
But you're no quitter.
That's right. That's right. As bad as I was waiting till the end for I wanted that disappointment.
And it was as bad as you thought it would be. Yep. But I really liked the first and second season. And yes, it reminds me of Lost.
Yep, same.
So then this guy, I'm gonna do something a little different. I know where the tree trunk goes. Okay, so that's about kind of on this mark, a quarter in. And it goes up to pretty much the halfway point between these two marks. So up like that. That's my tree trunk. And in this instance, I'm going to draw kind of a circle around it. And that's where my palm fronds are going to go. So this one's going to kind of come out around here. This one's around here. This one's here. I come up, this one pokes up sort of like that. But I'm just going to kind of contain them.
Drawing that guide circle is really, that's such a good tip.
And then everything kind of knows where to go. And then I'm going to erase the circle. And that beats, again, there's certain things you need to be really accurate about. These exact fronds at this juncture isn't. So we're going to make sure it looks like a tree and it's in the right place. And then the rest is up to artistic interpretation.
We know they're palm fronds. They move.
They move. They blow. They grow.
Yeah.
All right. This guy. We're going to do these two guys. This guy starts about 2/3 over. Let's do them at the same time. This one starts about 1/4 in. This one, we're going to kind of do the circle thing, but we're also going to mark off a few things. Okay, so I'm going to look for this part right here because this is kind of coming down. This cluster is sort of coming from there. So this is kind of.
Would you say that you're trying to find the heart of palm?
I am trying to find the heart of palm. And I'm not looking in the refrigerator.
That's right.
So bad. All right. So this is about, I would say, 1/4 up from these two marks, right? So 1/4, about the same. The heart of palm.
Cheryl wrote, I get it. I got it. Like, she was like, I think she didn't think anybody got that joke. And like, it's a bad joke, but yeah.
It's a bad joke. It's really, and thank you for getting it. We are very grateful you got it. Okay, the heart of palm is right here. And then this, instead of a circle, we're gonna kind of do oh, that's no problem. That just means we record these to have them, and it's not what's on YouTube. That's a different thing. And then for some reason it cut us off. That's no big deal. All right. So we're gonna kind of make this sort of triangle shape right here, and then it's kind of a circle on the bottom. Maybe a pizza wedge with rounded sides. So that's that shape. And there's kind of 4 with some change in here. So there's one here, and one here, and one here, and one here. And then we're gonna erase our pizza wedge. And then I'm gonna, the dark areas are kind of on the underside. So it's this part, this part, this part, this part, and I'm gonna erase my mountain from underneath. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna kind of paint this or draw in this dark shape because I think that's gonna be really helpful. So the dark shape on top of the heart of palm is around here. So there's kind of this part, and then it kind of comes over here. And then there's this kind of missing nugget right there. And then it's kind of up and around here, over here, over here. That's our kind of dark shape there. And then there's kind of some palm fronds that stick out this way, lighter ones that come around this way, and that kind of come up to the top just like that. And I'm going to kind of clean this up. That, like this, a little, there's a lighter one kind of around here. There we go. All right. This guy right here, we already have our trunk in. This starts, I'm going to kind of measure it off of this island, about this much into the island. So this palm frond starts, if we're going to try and find the heart of palm here, and we should, it is right where it kind of crosses this back mountain.
Yeah.
All right. So look at all this room we have to fill in here. Not to be understated. Actually, let's go from here. So I'm going to draw. So this is this, right? Let's do this shape first that kind of comes up and over this way. This is the dark shape right next to it. This shape right here kind of comes up and over this way. This dark one is kind of right next to it. There's another dark one that comes down underneath here. This one shoots out past it. Kind of comes underneath. That's kind of dark and light. This one comes out, not all the way to the mountain, so that would be too far. Comes around here. And then on this side of the tree, there's one more until you sort of get to the trunk. And then fill in this down to here. There we go. Now I'm going to count our dark areas up to here. Let's go ahead and put in this one right here. This one kind of connects these two trees. So it kind of comes out and over like this and then shoots back in. And it's mostly dark, except for that part. So we can check this one off this list. And then I count 1, 2, 3 in between here and here. So I'm going to put in my lines 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to fill in darker shapes underneath. 1, 2, this one kind of connects up to here, up to 3. And then there is that palm tree. Going to erase out our mountains from the other side. Any guidelines we might have put in. And then last but not least is this guy in the foreground. Before we do that, let's put in our clouds. This cloud begins kind of right at our battleship mark, 1 over, 1 up. That's where this cloud goes. This cloud is kind of also at the same mark, but up here. So this guy kind of lives over here. This one, I'm going to draw the space between here, between this cloud and this one, kind of like that. Again, these are basic placements. Your cloud certainly doesn't have to look just like this cloud. Comes up over here, ends at this mark right here.
We've drawn a lot of different types of clouds so far.
So many.
Yeah, so cool.
So many different types of clouds. And like, there's more to be had.
Yeah, right.
We haven't hit them all. And
Yep.
then this one this is sort of one stroke with some variety, but one stroke up to like right around here with our tree. So that's kind of like that. And this kind of does this. And now our clouds are in, and then this guy is kind of around here somewhere. And then if you want to make this edge more irregular like the cloud, you can. This guy, not going to be hard. We're going to start with the trunk. Trunk is halfway in this first third. That's our trunk. Let's pretend like it goes all the way to the heart of palm. The heart of palm is 1 over, I would say, to this mark. Hershey, I will forever call this the heart of palm.
Yeah, that's
it's too helpful. It's not because it's good, it's because it's just too usable. All right, so we're going to connect these lines. Just like this. And I'm going to erase all the good stuff we put in underneath. Bye-bye. Bye-bye tree, bye-bye mountain. I'm just cleaning this up so everyone can see what this is, because there's a lot going on right now, and I want you to see it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is the skirt, the grass skirt, I'm going to call it. Okay. The screen has a grass skirt. If someone knows what this is, tell us. And this kind of comes all the way down to this mark right here, actually past it. So the skirt kind of starts and goes down to here and over here. And we're going to erase our trunk out from under the skirt. So we have
Lori just wrote in and she said it's called the fret.
Definitely, yeah. Not the neck, definitely the fret.
Goodness.
And that is appropriate.
Artist community joke.
It's our artist community joke, and it should be in a song played on the ukulele. The fret is the heart of the palm.
You're right. You're right.
It should be the name of the song. And Lori writes songs, so we should ask her to do that.
The fret. That was really good.
The fret is the heart of the palm.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we're going to do the circle trick again. All right, so how big is our circle? It kind of starts, so if this is kind of halfway up over to this mark right here, so definitely sort of the circumference of the circle crosses that, right? So we're out about this big. Circle goes roughly around here.
Yep.
So we know what to do. We got the fret, the heart of the palm, and we know how far our fronds go. All right. So we're just going to start putting these in. I'm going to draw these first 3 down here. So I'm going to start with this one. This one comes out really sharply, kind of down like this. It's going to come all the way over to this edge over here, back up and over here. That's our first guy. I'm going to go with this one next. There's this kind of dark area right here. We're going to go ahead and let it help us. Maybe arrowhead shaped. This one comes down like this. It's going to end right here. We're going to connect that line with kind of the shaggy line. And then this guy tucks right under here. This guy's dark, so let's fill him in. Same thing, there's a shadow down here. This is going to help us. Let's fill that in. All right, so we got our foundation 3 in. Next ones we're going to do are these two right here. So this front and this one. This one comes out and goes all the way over to the edge of the page, makes a sharp turn back in. And this ends above our kind of dark area in the middle. And this one is actually mostly dark with just a sliver of light on top. Fill that in underneath here. This guy starts around the same point. It's going to shoot out to kind of this part of the circle. See how I've kind of got my circle here? Yeah. Hits right here. All light, except for maybe right here. Comes back in. There we go. Overlapping this area is this one right here. So this starts right here. It's almost a complete crescent if you look like this. So we're gonna make a crescent shape like this and fringe underneath, just like that. All right. This one right over here is basically a continuation of this one. In fact, might even be the same front. Comes over like this, goes outside of our circle we made ourselves, and fringes right in like that. Up here, this is kind of a wedge that hits right at this mark against our third, right here, and right here. This fringy edge, there's kind of a shape right here that we can top in. And then this area, kind of all one. Let's treat this all like one. So there's this dark area that shoots out to the side like this. And there's this kind of wedge of dark fringy palm. There's, from this line, this shape comes around here. So that's this part. Fill that guy in. And then this comes up and over like this. And around and down like that. This shoots up like this. This. Over like this. This connects to the line right here, comes back around, and this shoots out like that. Got him in.
Yeah, we did.
Got our guy in. I'm gonna leave this up for a moment and just clean up some of these registration marks. And we are right at the 8 o'clock mark.
Look at that.
Look at that.
You know, and next week when we start painting these, they won't be as daunting as maybe they look when they first come in the box. You see, you've already drawn these and it took you less than a half hour to do both or each, you know?
And I say this every time, you've already drawn these. You don't need to draw them again. But in the event that you'd like to draw and not transfer the outlines, we most definitely encourage you to do so. But the way I like to teach painting is to teach drawing, but also teach painting, because so many people like make you wait to paint and then you may never get there because you're too frustrated with drawing and you hang the whole thing up. So we did a really thorough drawing exercise tonight. We did 2 really detailed drawings. Awesome.
Yep.
We're gonna paint now. And it's, you need to work both muscles at once. It's a really important thing to do, but that's why the template's there. So we can just get started. We can just get painting.
And speaking of template, I know we teased it we teased it on Monday, but if this is your first time joining us this month, the template challenge, Allison, do you want to tell them what that is?
Yes, it's used 2 templates. So Hershey posted, right? It's up there.
Yeah. Oh, no, you know what? Yes, it is. It should, yeah.
It should have made it. Okay. So it's like use 2. So like, let's say you're making your, let's say what you want to do is the travel poster and you want the flamingo to peek out of the O or between the O and the
That's a really good idea.
Something like that, right? Like you like it's saying aloha and the flamingos in there, like that counts as using 2. Message in a bottle. Maybe the message is hanging around the penguin's neck. I don't know, but use 2. You can use 2 on one page. You can use 2 on like a spread where they're doing something like this, but use 2 of these at once. It's a really cohesive theme, so we can do that. And what day did we figure out that was due? The 22nd?
Yes, they're due the last Friday before the last week of every month. And so this month it falls on the 22nd.
The 22nd. And how do you submit? You put it up in the Facebook subscriber group.
That's right. You have to be a part of our subscriber group, which is separate from our Facebook page. The link is in the comment section, and that's where you'll click on that. You'll need to join. You'll have to click join, and someone will have to approve you, but we'll approve you. And tell your friends about it too. They don't even need to be a subscriber to join our subscriber group. We want as many people to see it as possible.
Absolutely. It's for everybody, but yeah, it's a private group. You got to click to join. We just don't let the bots in.
That's right.
If you're a bot, you're not allowed. So that's the only thing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I loved it as usual. I love to sit and draw, and we'll see you next Monday.
Yes, thank you. Bye, guys. Bye, Allison.
Bye, Hershey. Take care, everybody.